I think in general, the trans issue for me is just very much like a human rights issue. Because we're not, going to be able to stop trans people from being trans. It's like you can't stop anybody from being who they are. Ultimately, it's just pulling back the right for someone to make their own decision about their own body in their own
Ain't
life.
nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hello and welcome to another episode of This Week in DUMBmocracy, a show that strives to bring to you the biggest and latest in political buffoonery. And today is no exception because we have news about a soccer star who is leaving the field, starting her farewell tour, going for the gold one more time in the World Cup. Of course, it's Megan Rapinoe. But that's not the news story. Of course not. The news story is that Megan Rapinoe is once again being a hypocritical culture warrior. What are we talking about? We're talking about this article at time.com. Megan Rapinoe won't go quietly. The comments revolve around Rapinoe's views about trans athletes and whether or not trans women, that is to say, men who are transitioning to become women, whether or not they should be embraced in the athletic field, whether or not they should be allowed to compete with women. We've seen this issue, obviously, with Riley Gaines speaking up about Leah Thomas in collegiate swimming, with Fallon Fox in the MMA world. This is an issue that keeps popping up, and it seems like the American people don't have much of an appetite for seeing men compete against women and then dominate. Let's get to the comments that really caused an uproar with Megan Rapinoe's interview here with Time. And I'm going to scroll to it right now. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to scroll to it because I don't know if you guys know this, but I got connections. There was actually a video made of this interview. Nobody else has it but me. And I'm going to just share it with you guys right now.
We as a country are trying to legislate away people's full humanity. It's particularly frustrating when women's sports is weaponized. Oh, now we care about fairness? Now we care about women's sports? That's total bullshit. And show me all the trans people who are nefariously taking advantage of being trans in sports. It's just not happening. You're taking a real woman's space. That's the part of the argument that's still extremely transphobic. I see trans women as real women. What you're saying automatically in the argument, you're sort of telling on yourself already, is you don't believe these people are women. Therefore, they're taking the other spot. I don't feel that way.
Okay, you got me. Obviously, that wasn't real. And no, that wasn't Megan Rapinoe's voice. Although she does sound that shrill to me sometimes. I don't know about you guys. But I do want to point out one thing from this article that's also going to garner some news. And it was comments about Dave Chappelle, of all people, in connection with this trans issue. Here, we found it right here. Rapinoe believes that questioning transgender participation in women's sports, as Martina Navratilova and ESPN anchor Sage Steele have done, does harm that reaches far beyond the athletic field. Quote, I don't want to mince words about it, she says. Dave Chappelle making jokes about trans people directly leads to violence. Everything is violence. Words of violence now, people, whether it's verbal or otherwise, against trans people. When Martina or Sage or whoever are talking about this, people aren't hearing it just in the context of elite sports. They're saying, the rest of my life, this is how I'm going to treat trans people. Wow. Talk about a bunch of conclusions. This is the typical culture warrior behavior, going to extremes on an issue that is clearly a hot button issue. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. This is the type of culture warrior that I discuss in my book. You knew it was coming sooner or later, guys. Schnook's Crooks, Liars and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons. Available now at Amazon, at Barnes & Nobles, and other online bookstores. The Culture Warrior is anyone who wasn't in politics before, but they created a cachet, a following, uh, a little bit of a celebrity. They have high name visibility, and they're leaving their field and going into politics. They're going after that celebrity cause of the moment and advocating for it. We saw that with Megan Rapinoe discussing the so-called unequal pay gap between men's soccer and women's soccer. Now we're seeing that again with trans athletes. Isn't it convenient that Megan Rapinoe is talking about trans athletes in women's sports when she's getting out of women's sports, right? Megan Rapinoe never had that obstacle when she was developing into an amazing soccer player. And I don't want to take anything away from her on the field performances. The women's national soccer team is absolutely amazing at playing against other women. Against men, not so much. So this is some highlights from a match at the soccer tournament in North Carolina. It's a 7-on-7 tournament involving different teams. Mainly it's former players, retired players, some current players. In a 7-on-7 soccer game, 20 minutes long, not exactly a real competition, right? And in this particular matchup, it's the players from Wrexham Football Club, the team that Ryan Reynolds owns. You may have seen the was it the FX show on that, and the women's national team. Some members, former, current, retired of that team. Let's see what happens when there's an even playing field, quote unquote.
Again, you got to be careful. There's a shot, and there's.
We've seen
Okay, not a great start
against the U.S. women's team from this morning, and just hate to have that happen.
Third one, the redirection, no chance.
It's a redirection. Those things happen, right?
Nice spin move here by Lloyd. Lloyd fires and result.
Lloyd showing a bit of skill and
Turning the corner a little faster.
The end line, and when he does,
and now quickly on the counter. Another
strong.
Another goal.
Goalkeeper's not happy there.
Wasn't
happy with the defense.
Who come in. Good double team. And just a fortunate bounce goes. You have to get more players around him and also look for.
Oh, here they come again.
Off of him. It's a big ask, but.
Well, there's
that's just
Trundle
strong right there. Oh, the goalkeeper not happy again. That's just a strong athletic guy. Older guy it looks like too.
Has a sense of where the goal is and ball
just muscled his way in. Look at that.
And now a takeaway. But Trundle able to keep it.
And more power. Look at that.
With
turning around.
Trundle,
Same guy.
Second goal.
The keeper is just losing it.
Left foot. He's just looking for.
And it's not like that's a prime player. That's an older player, right? Oh, now we're going for 10.
Perfect contact.
Oh, I think by now everybody's given up.
Nice feed, and Daniel Jarvis has the 10th goal of the game here.
And this is the last one here.
Jarvis.
Yeah, they just gave up by then.
Game over. 12-0. Wrexham defeats the U.S. women.
Wrexham. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think you see the point I'm making. These aren't even the elite athletes, the elite male athletes of Wrexham. This, like I said, current, former, retired players. Same thing with the women, but there's definitely a difference. Bigger, stronger, faster. You saw it on every play that was in that highlight there. And clearly the women didn't score there. I think you get what I'm putting down here. So getting back to my point, yikes, 12-0. My goodness. Megan Rapinoe didn't have to develop in the same playing field as trans women, the way that this generation's female athletes are doing today. Maybe Megan Rapinoe would have never developed into the amazing athlete that she is if that was her environment. You know, the type of environment where an otherwise average male athlete transitions and then dominates a sport like the way Leah Thomas did. And all the while the female athletes like Riley Gaines are made to feel uncomfortable, marginalized, and otherwise have their emotional growth stunted because no one is protecting them. No one is worried about them. Women's sports is an amazing thing for young girls. It provides such confidence building. It provides, an avenue for athletic achievement. It helps grow students into well-rounded human beings. Now imagine someone using that to hold down women in the name of the latest cause or the latest movement. And you also notice what Megan Rapinoe does here in our video of what happened here, even though it was accurate to her quotes. What Megan Rapinoe does here is use a classic leftist tactic. Wrongthink isn't just absurd. Your guys aren't just thinking wrongly, all you people out there who don't agree with her position. You're the bigot. You're the transphobe. You're the one against humanity. You are the worst of the worst human being out there, and therefore you should be shunned. Your views should make you ostracized, and you do not belong in civil society. You don't belong in pleasant society. This is a classic tactic of a culture warrior, of a virtue signaler. I am so much greater than you are because I believe this. That's not how the world works. But you know what, Megan? Let me try to put my argument in a way that you would understand. I'm going to do my best here, folks, to do a little bit of lefty speak. And let's see if it resonates with Megan Rapinoe and her supporters. Megan, it's okay that there are differences between people. It's okay that there's diversity in people. It's okay that there's biodiversity in people. It's okay to say that men and women are different. Biological diversity is a diversity that we should all embrace. We should embrace our differences, not try to make everyone homogenized and the same and uniform. We should embrace the difference between men and women. And oh, by the way, Megan, it's science. Are you saying that we shouldn't follow the science? Are you a science denier? By saying that men can be women and women can be men, are you denying the science, TM? That's what it sounds like you're doing. It sounds like you're the one engaging in wrongthink. It sounds like you're the one that is squashing diversity. Where is the equity in that? You're not being very inclusive of embracing those differences, are you? Just like you weren't inclusive when you made this tweet right here, claiming that one of your teammates looked Asian in a photo, as if that was a bad thing? Well, I guess we're all not perfect, and I guess we're all not fit for society. And if we're all not fit for society, then we're all fit for society, folks. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think. Am I totally off base here with Megan Rapinoe? What'd you think of the exclusive interview? Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to the show. Oh my goodness, we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. This is absolutely amazing. Keep up the momentum. We appreciate everything you're doing. And by we, I mean me, because this is a one-man operation. There is nobody else involved here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you next time, where we'll talk about even more shenanigans about what's going on this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.